Hi, Charlie Mae Westbrook here from Craft Beer Online, and here at the Moa Brewing headquarters with Josh Scott, the founder and of course the executive brewer and the brains, I guess, behind Moa Brewing. And this gorgeous golden drink that I've got with the bubbles rising is of course the Moa Methode, which is one of the probably one of the first craft beers I've tasted out there. With a gorgeous champagne cork. And it really made me believe in craft beer that it absolutely matches, if not exceeds, the quality of fine wine. So, and this is, of course, what style of beer is the Methode?
It doesn't really fit into a style. We kind of say it's a Pilsner because people understand it, but it's kind of a cross between a German-style Pilsner and a Saison. So it's got that hoppy bitterness on the carrot. It's got that sort of lovely floral aromatic nose, but then it's got this sort of funky, spicy thing going on that's typical of Saison. And so it's a very, very unique beer and very, very food friendly as well, which is important.
Definitely, and it's got that champagne quality, doesn't it? Is that because of the natural carbonation?
Yes, yep, we do 100% natural carbonation for our estate and our reserve range. And so we do a secondary fermentation in the bottle. And I'm a big believer of that for two big reasons. It gives you a really fine bead bubble, an extra consistency and finesse on the palate, but also the added advantage is you get shelf life. So the beers age, and some of the first beers that we brewed literally 10 years ago, I've still got some stock that it's changed, it's developed, but it hasn't gone off and skunky, and which in that carboy taste, it's not very palatable. But with the Methode, it actually ages. So in fact, when we actually bottle our Methode, it's usually better probably 4 or 5 months down the track, and that's probably most beers would actually be going off by then.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we need that time for it to settle down and go for its conditioning.
So it can be cellared.
Oh, definitely. You can hold it, and we do a lot of our reserve beers or our single release beers that we actually encourage people to hold them for a couple of years to see how they develop.
Wow, well, that sounds fantastic. So the taste of this is very complex, but at the same time light, and I would definitely liken it to a fine French champagne. So, I would imagine that what makes this taste so good are the ingredients. What are the ingredients?
Yeah, the ingredients are the most important thing for beer. Obviously, New Zealand hops are just well regarded. People absolutely love New Zealand hops. They talk about when overseas, which come over just over the hill from in Rewaka, the Motueka area. The malt from South Canterbury or from the South Island of New Zealand. We do use a little bit of Australian wheat because we're not malting that here in New Zealand yet. But then the most important ingredient is the water. And water, and I'll argue till I'm red in the face, is the most important attribute to beer. And there's all these sort of subtleties to the water that's directly beneath the brewery, which give us a very unique style for our beers.
We are certainly very lucky in New Zealand to have the water that we have. So this water is not fluoridated?
No, nothing. It literally comes straight from the Wairau aquifer, which is a big aquifer beneath the brewery, and we pump it out, put it straight into tanks. No filtration. We don't do anything to it, and it's comes out nice and cool, and it's perfect.
That's fantastic. How lucky are we? So, Josh, we're drinking this now in these wine-like glasses. Why would you want to drink this gorgeous beer from a wine-like glass and not straight from the bottle?
Yeah, it's about getting your 90% or 99 or 95% of taste actually comes from smell, and so getting your nose in there and smelling those aromatics and really sort of sucking in on the aroma is really quite important. So I'm really a big fan of the sort of larger, sort of even wine glasses than the actual tall. I know traditionally people might think sort of Pilsner style, but I really like the big balloon glasses where you can really get your mouth and your nose in there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and of course you can share it with your friends as well that
exactly.
way. Indeed. So this is of course bottle conditioned. Now, a lot of people ask us, well, what does that mean?
Bottle conditioning is actually a natural carbonation. So most beers are artificially carbonated. They just sort of spars your CO2, which is a pretty cheap way of making beer, and it's quite a sort of a modern technology. Whereas we're actually doing a natural fermentation in the bottle. So we're adding a little bit of sugar, tiny bit of yeast, and it actually ferments through. It makes it the natural carbonation in the bottle, and it just gives you that extra sort of weight to the beer, which I think is really, really important.
Yeah, and the fine bubbles as well. So as you can see, if you look very closely, sort of at the bottom of the bottle, what you'll see a bit of a sediment, which is the yeast. So as I understand it, and a lot of people don't know this is of course, an absolute marker of craft produced, brewed by hand beer. What do you think about that yeast at the bottom, Josh?
Oh, I mean that is an important story. I mean, it protects the beer. It stops, keeps it fresh and keeps it live. And it's quite funny. When I started the brewery and we had some sediment issues, people will just stand off it. People are really understanding it. And actually, you're right. You've actually cottoned on something there because mainly craft brewers will do bottle conditioning, and aren't many large breweries doing it. There's a couple, or a few, but that's a real craft thing because it is very, very hard to manage and do properly. And you have to wait sometimes 6 weeks in winter before you can release your beer to the market. And that makes it quite unique and quite, well crafted, I guess.
Oh, Australia, good things take time, don't they?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so with this, don't be afraid of that yeast at the bottom because it actually tastes creamy and I love it. It's yum. Cheers, Josh.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, thank
Cheers.
you.